Hello, it's Keely from Hooking Love. This is one video in a series of videos for complete crochet beginners. Today we are going to spend some time looking at how to do a half double crochet. The American terminology is half double crochet, the English terminology is half treble crochet, but I will refer to it as half double crochet as I learned in American terminology. Hello. So today we are going to spend some time looking at how to make a half double crochet, which, as I said earlier, is the American terminology for the stitch that we're about to produce. You can see that I am using Stylecraft Special, and this is an aran weight yarn, and the colour is called Mocha, and shade 1064. It's a really lovely colour, and I use this quite a lot in the things that I make. But of course, you can choose any colour that you want. Stylecraft to do a really good range of them. The yarn itself washes well and is really soft. So whilst it's acrylic and not a natural fibre, it's really soft and very cosy. And it's a great affordable way to start off and build your projects up. Alongside of that, the other thing that I'm going to be using is my Knit Pro hook. This is 6.5mm hook. I'm using a slightly bigger hook just so you can see the stitches a little bit better. Generally, if I was going to be using aran weight, I'd use anything between a 4.5 to a 6, depending on the how tight I wanted the stitches to be. So this is, as I say, this is a Knit Pro hook. I will add a couple of links to where you can get them from Amazon should you choose to, so that'll be handy for you to have a look at. So if you choose not to get them from Amazon, at least you can have a look at what they are. I think Amazon at the minute do have a Knit Pro pack, which I remember thinking was a really good value. So but at the time if you're watching, that might not be the case for you. So what we are going to do then is we already have learned how to hold our hook, how to hold our yarn, and then how to do our slip knot. So we're going to do our slip knot first. So just the same way as I've showed you previously, holding my yarn, and we are going to do some chains. So for this, you want to think about how many chains do I want it to be. So if I'm going to do, say, a mug rug, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Does that look big enough for a coaster? I say mug because it'll be sort of a square. I'm going to go for that many. That looks about right. Now, you are going to want to build the height up by 1 chain. So if you've done as many as your project or you've decided you're going to do, then in this instance, you need to just do 1 extra. Now, just like with a single crochet, we are going to be going into the back loops. So hopefully you can see from there. We're going to miss the first one and we're going to go in the second one. Now, if we were doing a single crochet, we'd just go straight into it, wouldn't we? She says. So we go straight into it, or not, as the case may be, and we would take the yarn through and we would make our single crochet. So we are adding an extra step to this. So you are going to yarn over first and then slip through. And you'll see you've got 3 pieces of yarn on your hook. You're going to then pull through just like you would have done, and it still keeps you with a 3. And now what you're going to do is you are going to yarn over and pull through all 3, and that gives you your half double crochet. So a bigger stitch than the single crochet was. Let's do that again. So we're yarning over, we're placing it through the back loop. Remember, this starting one's always going to be that bit more tricky because it's always trickier when we're doing a starting chain to make the stitch. We've pulled that through. We've got 3 loops on our hook. We are yarning over and pulling through all 3. So your extra bit is this yarn over at the beginning. Yarn over, work it through, pull that through, yarn over, and then through all 3. So hopefully you can see that we are getting a taller stitch. Okay, so we're going to go all the way to the end, yarn over, pop it through, pull that through, and yarn over all 3. Now, remember, this is half double crochet in American terminology, which is a half treble crochet in English terminology. I learned in American terminology, so I found that easier. And the reason I learned in American terminology is because most of the patterns that I was using was in American terminology. But of course you choose the way you want to learn. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through. So we're going to carry on and we're going to do that till the end. So I'll be back in a moment. So here we are again, and we are at the end of that. So we've got a row of half double crochets. So I'm hoping that you can see, particularly if you've got something to the side of you to compare it to, that it is a deeper stitch than the single crochet. So if you were going to make a scarf, for example, and you were using this, it would work up more quickly because it's a slightly bigger stitch. So now we're at the end, we are going to make our turning chain. So as we did at the beginning, we need 1 chain to give us our height. So there we go. And we are going to turn this piece of work around, and then we are going to go into the 2 loops. So, sorry. Oh, there we go. So, yarning over, through the 2, pull through, yarn over, and then through all 3. So it's exactly the same. Of course, this is now going to be that much easier and that much quicker because you are going through those 2 loops rather than trying to do it through the loop of the starting chain. So we're yarning over and going through, yarning over and pulling through. So again, let's go to the end of this and have a look at the projects I can make. Now you take your time so that you're happy with the piece of work you've produced. There's absolutely no rush. There's no speed awards for crocheting. But if you can hear the music, neighbours are playing music, it's lovely. It's gorgeous day today. So here we go. And right to the end, so make sure we go to that last stitch. So tips and tricks, remember, count how many stitches you're doing and make sure you go into the last stitch. And when you're doing your chain, that you go into your first one so that you keep your edges straight. Okay, so these are quite open stitches, which is great for showing because you can see each of those stitches individually as it's worked through. So projects, what could we make with it? Well, we could make a scarf, mentioned that already. Again, you could do bookmarks, coasters. These would look really cute as a coaster, and then some tassels coming off the edge of it. I think as a gift for family members, that would be really cute. And quite a simple project where so it's not going to be too taxing for you, but you'll still have something of value. Although if you're going to make a coaster, I would probably recommend that you do that in cotton and not acrylic for the heat. So what else could you make? So we said coasters, bookmarks, a scarf, a cowl. You could make it so that it was a long rectangle and then sew up the edges, and then you would have a cowl. I think that would be a good use of this as well, because it makes quite a chunky stitch, so it's quite a warm stitch. So another good way of doing that. So that is our tutorial for doing a half double crochet. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've been able to follow along. I would, as ever, love to see any projects that you make with it, and find out how you've got on. Any questions, please get in touch.